This bottle is in your kitchen right now, and what is inside has nothing to do with maple trees. 0% real maple syrup, corn-based sweeteners, artificial flavoring, chemical preservatives. Canada produces over 70% of the world's maple syrup. It is part of our national identity, and yet millions of Canadians pour fake syrup on their pancakes every morning, believing it is the real thing. We analyzed 8 of the most popular table syrups sold across Canada. We read every ingredient list. What we found was not accidental. And by the end, you will see why the most trusted syrup is the biggest imposter of all. Number 8. Selection Table Syrup. You have seen this brand at Metro stores across Canada. The yellow label, the affordable price point. Canadians grab it without a second thought. But here is what the label does not tell you. The first ingredient is glucose-fructose syrup. That is Canada's term for high-fructose corn syrup, a sweetener derived from processed cornstarch that has been enzymatically converted to increase fructose content. This is not tree sap. This is industrial sweetener manufactured in a factory. And it gets worse. The maple flavor you taste is entirely artificial. There is no maple content in this product whatsoever. The amber color comes from caramel coloring, not from natural maple sap. Here is what most Canadians do not understand. Research from Princeton University found that rats consuming high-fructose corn syrup gained 48% more weight than those eating a normal diet, even when caloric intake was controlled. The study found significant increases in abdominal fat and circulating triglycerides. These are known risk factors for high blood pressure, coronary artery disease, and type 2 diabetes. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that consumption of high-fructose corn syrup increased over 1,000% between 1970 and 1990. That timeline mirrors the rapid increase in obesity rates across North America. And here is the price comparison that should concern you. Selection Table Syrup costs around $4 for a 750 milliliter bottle. Real maple syrup from Quebec costs approximately $15 to $20 for the same volume. You might think you are saving money, but what you are actually buying is a chemistry experiment disguised as breakfast. The glycemic index tells the real story. Real maple syrup has a glycemic index of 54. Corn syrup has a glycemic index of 90. That means the fake stuff spikes your blood sugar nearly twice as fast. For diabetics or anyone watching their metabolic health, this difference matters enormously. Selection Table Syrup is not maple syrup. It is corn syrup with artificial flavoring, and millions of Canadians serve it to their families every weekend. But this is only the beginning. The next brand is even more deceptive because of how it is marketed. Number 7. Compliments Table Syrup. Sobeys positions Compliments as its quality store brand. Better than the cheapest options. A smart compromise for budget-conscious families. Canadians trust this brand because it appears alongside premium products. The packaging looks respectable. The price seems reasonable, but here is the truth hidden in the ingredient list. 0 maple syrup, not 1%, not a trace. The product contains corn-based sweeteners as its primary ingredient. Caramel color provides the amber appearance, and natural and artificial flavors create the taste you associate with maple. What most shoppers do not realize is that the phrase natural flavor on a Canadian food label can mean almost anything. It simply indicates the flavor compound was derived from a natural source at some point. It does not mean the product contains what you think it contains. Sobeys is owned by Empire Company Limited, a corporation with over $28 billion in annual revenue. They reported strong profits in recent years, while Canadians face some of the worst grocery inflation in decades. Here is how the pricing works. They sell premium products at full markup. They sell store brands at lower prices, but higher margins because production costs are minimal. Corn syrup is cheap. Artificial flavoring is cheap. The real cost of this product to manufacture is likely under 50 cents per bottle. The rest is packaging, distribution, and profit. University of Guelph scientists studying food fraud note that maple syrup is among the 10 most adulterated foods globally. But the bigger issue is products that never contained maple in the first place being marketed as acceptable substitutes. Compliments Table Syrup is marketed as a breakfast staple, but inside the bottle is corn-based sweetener with chemical additives, and Canadians pay for it believing they are getting something close to the real thing. The next brand takes this deception to another level with its iconic yellow packaging. What we found about no-name table syrup will change how you shop. Number 6. No name table syrup. The bright yellow packaging is unmistakable. Loblaw's discount brand sits on every grocery shelf in Canada. Rock-bottom pricing. No frills. Canadians buy it by the millions because it appears to offer the same product for less. And that last part is actually true, just not in the way you might hope. No name table syrup contains corn syrup, artificial flavor, and coloring. No maple content whatsoever. The ingredient profile is virtually identical to Selection and Compliments. Same industrial formula, different label, different price. At around $2.30 per bottle, No Name is the cheapest option in this investigation. If Loblaw can sell this product for that price and still make profit, what does that tell you about actual ingredient costs? The corn syrup, water, artificial flavoring, and caramel color probably cost less than 40 cents per bottle. The rest is plastic packaging, transportation, and margin. Now compare that to real maple syrup. It takes approximately 40 liters of maple sap to produce 1 liter of syrup. The sap must be collected during a narrow window in early spring when temperatures fluctuate between freezing at night and thawing during the day. Then it is boiled for hours to evaporate the water and concentrate the sugars. This process requires significant labor, energy, and expertise. The price difference reflects the fundamental difference between industrial food manufacturing and traditional food production. But here is what should concern every Canadian parent. Loblaw reported record profits in recent years, billions in revenue. Meanwhile, they sell No Name table syrup for $2 and charge $15 to $20 for real maple syrup on the same shelf. They profit on both ends. Budget shoppers get corn syrup. Health-conscious shoppers pay premium prices. Research published in NPJ Science of Food found that high fructose corn syrup consumption significantly increased body fat content and altered intestinal microbiota in test subjects. The gut microbiome changes were associated with negative metabolic outcomes. No Name table syrup is exactly what the name suggests. A product with no connection to maple trees and no place in a health-conscious kitchen. But wait until you see the next brand, sold at Walmart and trusted by families trying to save money. What is inside is genuinely disturbing. And if you're learning something new here, hit subscribe and keep these eye-opening breakdowns coming. Number 5. Great Value Original Syrup. Walmart's store brand dominates the discount grocery space. Great Value products line every aisle, promising equivalent quality at lower prices. Canadians trust this brand because Walmart has built its empire on value. But value and quality are not the same thing. Great Value Original Syrup is made from high fructose corn syrup with maple flavor added. The label does not hide this. It is right there in the ingredients. But most shoppers never read past the front of the bottle. Here is what the product actually contains. High fructose corn syrup as the first ingredient. Corn syrup as the second. Water. Cellulose gum. Caramel color. Salt. Natural and artificial flavors. Sodium benzoate and sorbic acid as preservatives. And sodium hexametaphosphate. That last ingredient deserves attention. Sodium hexametaphosphate is a sequestrant used to improve texture and extend shelf life. It is approved for food use, but it is also used in industrial applications as a water softener and in detergents. The preservatives keep the product shelf stable for months or even years. Real maple syrup, by contrast, should be refrigerated after opening and consumed within 6 months to a year for optimal quality. Great Value Original Syrup costs approximately $2.50 for a 600 milliliter bottle. It is cheap because the ingredients are cheap, and Walmart can sell it at this price because their business model is built on volume over margin. Health Canada has repeatedly flagged excessive sugar consumption as a nationwide concern. High fructose corn syrup has been linked in studies to increased risk of obesity, type 2 diabetes, fatty liver disease, and cardiovascular problems. Princeton University research found that animals consuming high fructose corn syrup showed characteristic signs of metabolic syndrome, including abnormal weight gain and increased visceral fat around the abdomen. The researchers noted that in humans, these same characteristics are known risk factors for serious chronic diseases. Great Value Original Syrup contains nothing close to real maple syrup. It is industrial sweetener with artificial flavoring sold under a name that implies quality. The next brand has been a North American icon for over 130 years. Its name evokes wilderness and tradition, but what we discovered about Log Cabin Original Syrup will shock you. Number 4. Log Cabin Original Syrup. The packaging shows a snow-covered cabin in the woods. The branding evokes tradition, purity, and nature. Log Cabin has been a household name since 1887 when grocer Patrick Towell created the formula to use leftover corn syrup. That origin story tells you everything you need to know. Log Cabin Original Syrup is made from corn syrup, water, sugar, salt, natural flavor, and a list of additives including sodium hexametaphosphate, sodium benzoate, sorbic acid, caramel color, phosphoric acid, and mono and diglycerides. There is no maple syrup in this product. 0%, not even a trace. The company has reformulated over the years, removing high fructose corn syrup, but the core product remains the same. It is corn-based sweetener with maple flavoring. The color comes from caramel coloring, not from boiled maple sap. Log Cabin is owned by Conagra Brands, a multinational food corporation. The rustic cabin on the packaging suggests a small operation in maple country. The reality is industrial food manufacturing on a massive scale. Some types of caramel color contain a compound called 4-methylimidazole, which has been flagged as a potential carcinogen in some studies. The point is not to create fear. The point is to illustrate how far this product is from the simple single ingredient that real maple syrup represents. Real maple syrup contains one ingredient. It provides manganese, zinc, calcium, and potassium. It contains over 50 bioactive compounds with antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. Its glycemic index is lower than both refined sugar and corn syrup. Log Cabin Original Syrup contains none of these benefits. For over 130 years, this brand has traded on the imagery of traditional maple production while delivering corn syrup. But the next brand is even more troubling. This one was so controversial that the entire product had to be rebranded. What we uncovered about Pearl Milling Company Original Syrup will change how you see the breakfast aisle. Number 3. Pearl Milling Company Original Syrup. You probably know this product by its former name, Aunt Jemima, the brand that appeared on breakfast tables across North America for over 130 years before being renamed in 2021. The name changed, the ingredients did not. Pearl Milling Company Original Syrup contains corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, water, cellulose gum, caramel color, salt, natural and artificial flavor, and multiple preservatives including sodium benzoate, sorbic acid, and sodium hexametaphosphate. This is currently the #1 selling syrup brand in the United States. Millions of Canadians buy it as well, and not a single bottle contains real maple syrup. Here is what makes this particularly disturbing. The original Aunt Jemima syrup, decades ago, actually contained real sugar and real maple sugar syrup. Over time, the formula changed. Corn syrup replaced real sugar. High fructose corn syrup replaced maple. The product became cheaper to manufacture and more profitable. Pearl Milling Company is owned by PepsiCo, one of the largest food corporations on the planet. The same company that makes Pepsi and Gatorade. The same company whose core business relies on selling sugary products at high volume. Look at the ingredient list. Corn syrup and high fructose corn syrup are the first two ingredients. Water is third. The flavoring that is supposed to give it maple taste appears lower on the list than the sweeteners. Essentially, what you are consuming is sugar, industrial processing aids, and chemical preservatives with a hint of maple taste. Research has linked high fructose corn syrup to impaired glucose tolerance, fatty liver disease, and altered dopamine signaling in the brain. A study in PLOS One found that mice consuming high fructose corn syrup showed metabolic dysregulation even without obesity. Pearl Milling Company Original Syrup is a corn-derived sweetener product owned by a soda company and marketed as a breakfast tradition. The rebranding did nothing to change what is actually in the bottle. The next brand may be the most misleading of all. Its iconic bottle has fooled Canadians for decades. Number 2. Mrs. Butterworth's Original Syrup. That distinctive bottle shaped like a grandmother figure has been a kitchen staple since 1961. The packaging radiates warmth and tradition. Mrs. Butterworth's markets itself as thick, rich, and delicious. The implication is clear. This is home-style syrup like grandmother used to make. The reality could not be more different. The first ingredient is high fructose corn syrup. Second is corn syrup. Third is water. Then comes a list of additives: cellulose gum, salt, caramel color, sodium hexametaphosphate, sodium benzoate and potassium sorbate as preservatives, natural and artificial flavors, citric acid, molasses, lactic acid, and mono and diglycerides. There is no maple syrup in this product. The name Mrs. Butterworth suggests butter, but there is no butter either, just butter flavoring. This is one of the most misleading products on Canadian grocery shelves. The nostalgic bottle shape, the grandmother imagery, the words thick and rich all create an impression of traditional food. Inside is industrial corn syrup with chemical additives. Mrs. Butterworth's is owned by Conagra Brands, the same corporation that owns Log Cabin. Same company, same playbook. Different bottle, different marketing, same corn-based formula. The bottle design specifically targets families. Children recognize the shape. Parents associate it with their own childhood memories. This emotional connection drives purchasing decisions without any examination of ingredients. Research on high fructose corn syrup consumption has found associations with increased liver fat accumulation, insulin resistance, and elevated triglyceride levels. A review in the Journal of Diabetology noted links between high dietary fructose consumption and obesity, diabetes mellitus, metabolic syndrome, and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Mrs. Butterworth's original syrup contains preservatives that Whole Foods Market has banned from its stores. These are ingredients one of the largest natural food retailers considers unacceptable in food. And now we come to the worst offender on this list. Not because the ingredients are different, but because of the trust Canadians place in this brand. What we discovered about President's Choice table syrup will change how you shop forever. Number 1. President's Choice table syrup. President's Choice is Loblaw's premium store brand. It sits above no name in the brand hierarchy. Canadians associate PC with quality, innovation, and value. The decadent chocolate chip cookies, the white cheddar mac and cheese. These products have earned consumer trust over decades. That trust makes President's Choice table syrup the worst offender on this list. The product contains no maple syrup. Like every other brand in this investigation, it relies entirely on corn-based sweeteners and artificial flavoring. Caramel color provides the amber appearance. Preservatives extend shelf life. Here is why this matters more than the discount brands. When a shopper reaches for no name or great value, they know they are buying the cheapest option. Expectations are calibrated accordingly. But when a shopper chooses President's Choice, they believe they are upgrading. They believe they are getting better quality. They are not. President's Choice table syrup uses the same industrial formula as the discount brands. The same corn syrup base, the same artificial maple flavoring, the same caramel coloring, the same preservatives. Loblaw sells no-name table syrup for around $2.30. They sell President's Choice for more. The only difference is the label and the markup. This is how Canadian grocery works. Corporations control multiple price points. Budget brands capture cost-conscious shoppers. Premium store brands capture shoppers willing to pay more for perceived quality. Name brands sit at the top, and often the products are nearly identical. Loblaw reported billions in profits while Canadians struggled with inflation, and through all of it, they sold corn syrup as table syrup across every price tier. Meanwhile, Canada produces over 70% of the world's real maple syrup. Quebec alone accounts for approximately 90% of Canadian production. We have the largest strategic maple syrup reserve on the planet. This is our product. It is part of our national identity. And yet, the most common syrup in Canadian kitchens is corn-based sweetener made to taste like something else. Real maple syrup has a glycemic index of 54 compared to 75 for corn syrup. It contains manganese, zinc, riboflavin, and over 50 antioxidant compounds. Studies have shown it produces lower glucose and insulin responses than corn syrup. It is a natural product with one ingredient. President's Choice table syrup is industrial food manufacturing disguised as premium grocery. And millions of Canadians buy it, believing they are making a quality choice. 8 brands, all owned by major corporations, all using the same basic formula of corn syrup, artificial flavoring, caramel coloring, and preservatives. All marketed as table syrup to avoid calling themselves what they actually are. All sitting next to real Canadian maple syrup on grocery shelves while costing a fraction of the price. The difference is not just price, it is the difference between a natural product made from tree sap and an industrial product manufactured from cornstarch. It is the difference between ancestral food production and modern food engineering. Canada produces the finest maple syrup in the world. Our climate, our forests, our producers, our expertise. This is ours. And yet most of what Canadians pour on their pancakes has never been near a maple tree. If this is what we found in the syrup aisle, what do you think is happening in other parts of the grocery store? The honey industry has similar problems. The olive oil market is rife with fraud. The food system has been optimized for profit, not for health, and Canadians deserve to know the truth.